Hello, everyone, and welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm going over my top 10 anticipated games for 2023. Before I get into the actual top 10 list, I want to give two honorable mentions of games that didn't quite make this list because I didn't quite feel they qualified for the list because they are remakes of games that were already out there. So let's go ahead and get into those honorable mentions first of all. And the first one, which was on GameFound, is the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition. Now, this is a game I haven't played it as of yet, the original one, but I've seen it played online, and I've seen a solo gameplay that Paula Deming did, and so the solo mode seems interesting as well as the multiplayer. So this is a game that my wife and I are very much looking forward to trying out for the first time with this special edition. Now, the special edition has a lot of extras that have gone into it. It's got all these kind of little miniatures that I know aren't necessary, as well as some of these special tiles that have been upgraded and extra duchies, and you got some expansion materials that are new to the game with this one. And so I'm just looking forward to getting into this very blinged out version of the Castles of Burgundy and being able to play the Castles of Burgundy for the first time. It seems like a great game and very much looking forward to it. Another one that's a remake here is Santa's Workshop, which is being remade by Elf Creek Games. And first of all, I'm interested in this game. The artist is Andrew Bosley, and he does great artwork, as well as the gameplay itself seems like it's going to be interesting. It's got a worker placement mechanic to it. And I've also really just would like to have some good games that are good for around the holidays. And so this is one of those that I'm interested in because it seems like it'll be a fun game to play around Christmas time. Let's get into the top 10 list now, with the first one being Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. In this game, it seems a little bit like it's got some relation to Parks in the way that you've got these cards that you have to buy, but then it goes into a much, much more complicated game after that. So it's really its own game, and it's a much more complex game than Parks. But it looks like it's got a lot of great stuff going on in this game. It's a worker placement game, and unlike Parks, you're not just going along one little track there. You're having a standard worker placement, and there's just so much that goes into this game. You gotta make sure you're going along this trail at least 10 out of the 12 rounds. And you have to be able to pay for that. You're trying to get these different locations. You're trying to get these different cards, and there's just so much going on. There's races to different things. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And so I like the nature theme, and all the components look great. I'm just going to scroll down for a moment here so we can see some of the things we've got going on in here. And just really quick, you can check out the Kickstarter page if you want for it to go a little bit slower there. But the artwork looks great. And it's the Andrew Bosley artwork there. And so looking forward to this. Next one on number 9 is Earth. And this game is a strong Tableau engine building type game, and I love Tableau games. I love engine building games where you start out with something very small and you're building up something bigger. And this takes Tableau building games to a different level as you are trying to make sure that you are building out your Tableau in a certain arrangement as things are going to trigger in the way that they have been arranged on the board. That's kind of an interesting mechanic that is built in here. And so I just love the look also of the components. This is another one of these beautiful games where the artwork and the components just drew me into wanting to look deeper into this game. And with getting the Kickstarter version, I'm going to have all the kind of deluxeified Kickstarter components as well. And it's just a game that I'm looking very much forward to playing because I love engine building and Tableau building games. And this looks like it takes that to the next level. And you got these cool pieces here. It just all look great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The next game on my list is Terraforming Mars, the dice game. Now, this game, I enjoy Terraforming Mars in all its forms so far between the original game and the Ares Expedition. And here comes another iteration, the dice game. This game feels like it's going to be quite a bit lighter than the other games, a little bit faster paced than the other ones, as well as kind of a more luck based in that you are having to roll the dice. And although there is some mitigation there, there is going to be a little bit more luck involved in that. So I feel like it's going to be a lighter, quicker game to kind of fill a different kind of position than the other two try to fill. I know there's a lot of competition between Ares and the original because there wasn't much difference as far as they go. They have very much similarities to them. but this one seems like it's going to be a completely different game. It's going to fulfill a different role. And so while Ares Expedition didn't quite hit as much as the original game, because it's trying to fulfill same kind of space but faster, this one I feel like it's going to hit differently and have its own proper space. And so I'm very much looking forward to Terraforming Mars, the dice game. Now at number 7, we got Deliverance, the game of spiritual warfare. And this is, as it says, a game of angels, demons, and the saints caught between. And here you are taking on the role of these different angels in a campaign game as you are trying to fight against evil. And it's got both a campaign as well as a skirmish kind of mode. But I think I'm going to be mostly interested in the campaign version of this and looking forward to it with the kind of a Christian theme going on here. It's not got too deep of a Christian theme though, as you know, there's I mean, it kind of goes off on its own a bit there with all these different angels. There's only 2 named angels in the Bible, but we've got a bunch of different ones that are coming here into this game. And you know, it's not, the gameplay itself isn't really going to take on any kind of, you know, scriptural type thing, but you are having the kind of spiritual warfare idea. And so I like the idea of how they've built this in here. The components look great, and I'm sure the campaign is going to be great as well. And just very much looking forward to trying out Deliverance. Okay, coming in at number 6 is All Time Wrestling. This is a game that has actually already come in for me. I just recently got it in the mail, but I haven't started playing it yet. Looking forward to diving right in. I grew up watching wrestling when I was a kid, and so I enjoy the theme for that. And this game itself seems very thematic, as while you are wrestling, you're going to have where you are going to be in control of the initiative, where you are going to be building up combos and doing different attacks, and you're going to have that initiative for a while, and then that's going to switch, and your opponent's going to get the initiative, and you're going to, all you can do is try and do whatever you can to defend in that moment, and try to get that initiative back at the right time. And so you've got this very thematic kind of push and pull there, as well as you're going to have this momentum track, which is going to show as you are getting the momentum in the match, and you're going to be more easily able to end the game with your finisher, more easy to hit your finisher there or your signature moves. And so that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. It's got a campaign for a solo mode. I'm looking forward to that. It's also got 2-player, and you can also do 4-player with a tag team type thing. And so I'm looking forward to trying out some of these different modes, and very much looking forward to this game. The theme works well in it. Next one, number 5, is Maple Valley, and this is by the people who brought us Creature Comforts, and it's in that same world of Creature Comforts. Kids Table board gaming knocked it out of the park with Creature Comforts, and this game looks like it's bringing something different to the table, and it's not just going to be kind of a remix, a rehash, but that it's its own game in its own right. And so I'm looking forward to what Maple Valley brings to this Creature Comforts universe. Again, top-notch components, just like with Creature Comforts. Great artwork like Creature Comforts did, but then again, it's got its own mechanics there. And I've watched videos on this game, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun in its own right. And so very much looking forward to this game coming in. I know I have to wait till probably December, I think is when they're looking to fulfill, but excited about this coming in. Creature Comforts was my first Kickstarter that I backed. It wasn't the first one that came in, but it was the first one that I backed. Was excited to get it, enjoyed it very much, and now I'm looking forward to this one towards the end of this year. Coming in at number 4 is Rove. Now, this is a game that I don't know a whole lot about, but I am excited about it because of the fact that it is made by the people that did Crimson Scales, which is the fan-made version or fan-made expansion to Gloomhaven. They did a very good job on that. As far as I can tell, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but just looking at the different classes and different things, trying to figure out what I wanted to do as my class, and just seeing the quality that's gone into the making of the game itself was really good. And so Rove is a campaign game by the people that did that fan-based expansion there to Gloomhaven. And the artwork that I've seen so far isn't a lot, but the artwork looks great. As you can see, this picture right here, if I can go ahead and click on that, looks great. And I'm looking forward to seeing more about this game and hearing more about it. I love being able to dive into a campaign game, and so I like this as a campaign game, and looking forward to playing this one. And then number 3 is The Flood by Bedouin Games. And this game is basically you are Noah trying to build the ark before the flood comes, and everybody is playing as basically Noah trying to be the one to build that ark. And so you're trying to be the Noah, the one that builds the ark out of all the people. But there's no guarantee that even anybody's going to win the game because the ark has to be completed before the flood comes. And there's these mechanics within the cards that as sin increases, the flood gets closer. But as as the mercy card comes up, the flood kind of gets further away a little bit, and eventually that flood is going to come, and somebody has to build their ark and be done with it before that happens, or nobody wins. But whoever builds first, they're going to be the winner. And it's got some very similar mechanics to Catan, except for the fact that it adds a whole bunch extra. Now, I'm not the biggest Catan fan, but I feel like the what it adds to that Catan mechanism is going to be great. Some of the things that it changes a little bit where it differs, I like how it changes in those ways. It doesn't have that same kind of robber kind of mechanic that Catan has, and it's not as reliant, it doesn't feel like it's, from what I've seen, on that negotiation skill being great. There is that same negotiation in there, but there's also this extra track where you are slowly going to be able to go from 4-to-1 trades to 3-to-1 trades to 2-to-1 and 1-to-1 before it jumps back up to 4-to-1 and you work your way through that. And so you can kind of use that mechanism a little bit more than having to rely on trades from others. It looks like it's going to be a little bit different there in the way that works, as well as the fact that you're focused on also moving this mammoth around to get some extra resources, and there's all kinds of different things that are going to go on in this game along with that standard kind of style there that Catan had. And so I really like that. I really like the theme. It seems like we got a good biblically themed game coming here. There's not a lot of good biblical themed board games out there. And so it's great to see some of these getting into the hobby these days. And so I love the theme, and I like what it adds to that Catan mechanism, how it seems to grow from that into something much better. Number 2 on my list is Marvel Zombies. It's a Zombicide game, and I really love Zombicide. And so to see this Marvel game come out with that, and as I've seen people talk about this game and do playthroughs and different things, I've noticed that it's got a lot of things to it that make it even stronger than the other Zombicide games out there. It looks like it's going to be the best Zombicide thus far. And I like the fact that you can play both as zombie heroes and that have been taken over, been zombified, and are doing their thing, of course. And then you can also play the traditional style where you are the heroes trying to defeat the zombies. And so the fact that you have these two different types of things going on here, I love that. And it really just kind of increases the replayability of the game. And so I'm looking forward to this game. The fact that you have these different superhero powers that are going to come into this seems very interesting, unique, and that you're going to be going against even some superpowered zombies through that. And so I just really like the look of this game. I like that it seems to add a lot to the already great Zombicide kind of mechanism there. And so looking forward to Marvel Zombies. And the number 1 game that I'm really looking forward to is Race to the Raft. Now, Isle of Cats is one of my favorite board games, and Race to the Raft looks like it's going to deliver just as well. It's by Frank West, the creator of Isle of Cats, and it's a sequel to Isle of Cats, but it's its own game in its own right. It plays very differently than Isle of Cats. Isle of Cats, you are trying to fit these cats onto your board, and treasures and stuff to get as much as you can on before the end of the game. Well, here you are basically playing to help get all these cats off the island. You're basically playing as the cats on the island, trying to get to the raft, trying to get to safety as the island is burning down. And you're being forced to put these different fire polyomino shapes onto the board, trying to find a place where you're going to be able to put them where they're not going to hurt as much, not going to get in the way as much, where you still have that ability to get out. And then you're also building these tracks with these square pieces, and you're having to try and make the different colors line up because each cat is going to have a certain type of terrain that it wants to travel on. And then you're going to be moving those cats along with an action. And as you do more of these actions, more fire is going to come out. And so it's just going to be great. I've seen some playthroughs and examples of how to play this game that Frank West has done. I've played the little mini game that Frank West has put up there on the internet. And it was good in its own right, but it is nothing compared to what I've seen the full game is going to be. And so really looking forward to this game. My wife and I both are really looking forward. This is both our, I'm sure, number one anticipated game of 2023. So let me know, what do you think of this list? Do you agree with this list? Are there ones that you wouldn't have had on here? Are there games that you would have on your list? Let me know some of your top 10 games that you're looking forward in 2023. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next video.